Hi there, welcome back to another video with me, Jenny Kirk. It's really good to have you along, and today we're going to be doing a question and answer session. So we've collated some of the questions that you've been asking me over the last month or so throughout the comments across all of the videos, and we're going to look at some of those now and see if I can come up with some answers for you. So without further ado, Zoe, drum roll please, give us the first question.
Okay, Carol Taylor asks, nice running session with both the Flying Scotsman and Mallard with the teak rolling. Was it the baggage coach / comb guards as well?
I think what she means is I reviewed the Flying Scotsman set, and in that we had the locomotive and 3 coaches. And I think she's asking whether the full break that I was running in the running session with the train actually came as part of that set. Well, the short answer to that is no, it doesn't. That full break, in fact, was actually the very, very first teak coach that I purchased when Hornby first brought them out. In fact, I even remember the day buying it. I'd called in at Durham Trains in Stanley, and I saw it and I thought, wow, those are really nice. And I think it was the only one he had left, as he said at the time. Being right in the heart of London and North Eastern Railway territory, they were going off the shelves, flying off like they were magnetised and somebody was passing with a big electromagnetic coil. So that's the long answer. But anyway, Zoe, what have we got? The next question.
Okay, Stuart Grant asks, did you not find any wildlife, Jennifer, about the visit to West Horton?
Yeah, this was the Jenny Cam video. We went for a really good long walk in those woods. I think the locals call it the bonk. It sounds like that should be said with a French accent. But we did see the wildlife. It was on the video because there was the water vole stroke rat. I'm not even quite sure yet. I'm gonna say it was probably a water vole that we saw. It was a bit far off the beaten track for an actual common sewer rat or anything like that. So we did see some, and there was video evidence of that. In terms of things like deer, no, we didn't. Deer are actually very, very good at hiding. And when we went and did a walk in this 7-acre wood, we did actually see deer. Well, I did. And despite them being clear as day to me, and they weren't very far from us, I think Zoe filmed everything but the deer, so we didn't have any footage of that. But, you know, wildlife was all around. You could hear the birds tweeting. You know, these things are wild animals, so they're going to kind of keep out of the way of humans when they walk through. What have we got next? Let's go. Question 3. Let's see what you got for us.
Tolyar10 asks, will you be doing an unboxing / review of the new Hornby Class 87? Please do the BR Blue one if you do.
A 2-part question. Well, firstly, I think that the Hornby 87 is one which I await with interest. It's probably pushing the time period to some degree of what my interests lie in. There's certain locomotive classes which I don't really confess to having much of an interest in. Things like Class 47s, I'm sorry, but they just really don't do anything for me. The Class 87 runs the risk of falling into that category. That said, when Bachmann brought out their Class 85, it actually blew me away, and I was very intrigued by that, and I got one, and I really do like the Class 85. So it stands to reason, you know, the Class 87, they've been around since the 1970s, so they are actually quite a long-running locomotive design and do encompass the time period which I like to model when I'm modelling the BR Blue. So if I did get one, then the BR Blue, the Rail Blue, with tops number would definitely be the version that I'd get. But watch this space, it may well happen. I'll wait and see how good that model is when it does finally turn up from Hornby. Right, question 4. We're really scooting through these, aren't we? So let's see, what have we got? Question 4.
Ham Shackleton asks, totally irrelevant to your car problem, I notice you have a collection of Jack Reacher Lee Child books on your bookshelf. I presume you like him too. Don't you think the last book is pretty weak, though? Bringing more people in to help when he's supposed to be a loner.
Yeah, first of all, 2-part question again. Jack Reacher books, I love them. The first one that I got hold of and read was Tripwire, which I think is about the third one which Lee Child wrote. And the story behind that was I was sat in a restaurant somewhere waiting for somebody, and it turned out they were running massively late. But for whatever reason, this restaurant had a bookshelf with a whole load of books that you could just sort of take out and flick through. And one of them was Tripwire by Lee Child. And I read it and I loved it. And I started, you know how it is. You get a random book, you read it, you love it, and you start exploring what other ones that author's written. And I think the second one I got was Echo Burning. And I gradually built up a very large collection of Lee Child, Jack Reacher books, to the point where I've actually got every single one. Some of the ones I've got first editions, hardbacks. I've grown to love the books so much that I do tend to buy them when they come out in hardback. The very last one that came out, because I tend to read them out of order, I read very, very quickly. I'm struggling to remember. I know the penultimate one was No Middle Name. The one after it, I think it's The Midnight Line. I did enjoy it, as I enjoy all of the Jack Reacher books. I got through it. I did like it, not necessarily feeling it was the strongest Jack Reacher book, and not necessarily for the reasons given in the question. But, you know, I await with interest the next Jack Reacher book. I think it's due out in the next couple of months. So we'll see what he has to offer. There are strong books. There are slightly weaker books in the series. But, you know, I think that's the case with any long-running series with a core character, that, you know, there will be books that you'll like more than others. But next question, let's see, what have you got for us?
Wolfie Wolf, who's a regular to your questions, asks, My head hurts after looking at the details of this video. Published on the 11th of May 2018, today, I am watching it at 8:20 a.m. And you posted first 10 hours ago. Have you invented time travel? Oh, and at 0704, amongst other times, on the video, a train goes into a tunnel. It's not a normal tunnel, it's an anti-tunnel that is brighter inside than outside. I hope you have sorted the editing PC out.
Yeah, well, it seems to be a 3-stage question. My, 3 stages. So, first part of that, do I have a time machine? No.
Officially not.
Well, yes, but my future self may claim ignorance of this matter in order to preserve the rules of the space-time continuum. Great Scott, Rozzy! It's going to destroy the space-time continuum! The space-time continuum's going to collapse in on itself, and the whole world will turn into a small pot noodle.
Okay, Douglas Adams.
Yes. What was the second part of that question again?
Okay. The second part was about a train going into a tunnel, but it's not a normal tunnel, it's brighter inside than out.
Yeah, that's on the shed layout, the Bolton Trinity Road layout. And what this is that because it's a 2-part layout, we've got the Bolton Trinity Road in the shed, and the trains can stay within the confines of the shed. They go Bradshaw Gate Tunnel, reappear as if coming down the Burnden Fork to Burnden Junction. But if you follow the line to as if going to Preston, or come back in as if coming from Manchester, that's the longer loop that goes round the garden. And of course, if it's a really, really hot sunny day outside, the tunnels are really actually only the thickness of the shed wall. So bright outside, it's going to look like there really is a bright light at the end of the tunnel. And in a really, really hot sunny day, that light is so bright, it actually makes the lights in the shed seem quite pale by comparison. So that's what you actually saw. Is there a third part to this question?
I hope you've sorted the editing PC out.
Oh yes, we had an issue a couple of weeks ago, and the editing PC is not actually a PC. What we use is an Apple Mac, a very, very impressive Apple Mac computer that I bought as a birthday present for Zoe a little while ago. So it's actually in this room, so we're going to pan the camera across, and we can see this is it. All our editing takes place on this Mac, but unfortunately it's one of those things, I've been spoilt in a way. I've always used myself Microsoft operating systems, and that means I've grown used to having to reinstall every couple of months or even couple of weeks, but this Mac had gone for a number of years, never been reinstalled, and reinstalling a Mac seems to be this sort of strange, weird rocket science type thing that most people don't really know much about. But what happened was the computer stopped booting. It just hung on booting. Doing a software scan, it said no problems with this software. Clearly it was lying to us. Hardware scan said no problems with the hardware. So it had to be one or the other. And in the end, we had to do a full reinstall, complicated by the fact that at the time, there was about 60 gigabytes of data sat on the drive that we needed. Things like unedited film footage, some backups that hadn't been transferred to the file server yet. So we had to find a way to get them off before we could do a format and reinstall, and that took about a week. We did manage to find a solution in the end. So we're back on track with the videos, but that was really the long story behind why we were having so much difficulty with the editing. What's our next question? The phone has powered down because I rabbited on for so long that it's gone to the screensaver. So I think we're up and running now. So Zoe, eye in the sky. Can you tell us what is the traffic like over in Question Centre?
Oh, we just got a few more, so here we go. Donald and Douglas fan says, "Second nice vid, Jenny. My favourite YouTuber. Please, could you come and visit Gooley Steam Railway and tell me when you're going down so I can meet you?" I think it's Gooley. GWL.
Excuse me. I'm going to stop you there. Massacring. I know what it is. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is spelt correctly. Now, I know what this is. Having some Welsh background.
Come on, then.
Gwilly.
Gwilly.
Yeah? Gooley. Sounds like... Gooley sounds like...
It's really, really small on the phone. That's why I couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah, okay, listen to the back chat. So you just made it sound like somewhere in Australia, like Kangaroo or whatever that place is. But, I forgot what the question was now. Just remind me. Oh, am I ever going to come and visit the Gwilly Steam Railway? Actually, it is a steam railway which I have followed online. I've kept up to date with the expansion of the railway over the years. I tend to do this. I do follow with an avid interest an awful lot of preserved railways and how they're putting restoration projects together and especially extending. I love looking at enthusiasts hacking back the undergrowth and putting a railway back in where there hasn't been one for 40 to 50 years. I find that really, really good to watch. Really enjoy that. And the Gwilly Steam Railway, I know that they have aspirations to eventually extend a bit further. So I know about it. And it is one that I would like to come and visit. When I do go and visit preserved railways, I will try and pre-announce it. I know that we go over to the East Lancs Railway from time to time, and with that I don't tend to announce it because that does tend to be a spur of the moment thing because it's only maybe 10 minutes drive from here. And I've done the Ribble Steam Railway. We did a lot of that on camera as well, and again I forgot to pre-announce that. Don't worry about it. In the future, bad Jenny, I will announce these things so that if people want to come and say hello, that'd be great. But just remember, it's it's about the railway first and foremost. I don't want to take attention off all the great work that the enthusiasts and the volunteers do at these railways. So, do we have any more questions?
We do. This one, I'm not sure you'll want to bleep his name out or not because it might embarrass people. Jack Colleen says, "Please do a giveaway of this beautiful locomotive."
Right, I know a lot of other YouTube channels, a lot of big YouTube channels do giveaways, and it's one of the things that giveaways cost money. And I still do this YouTube channel largely as a hobby, and that it doesn't have the income to be able to sustain giveaways out of my own pocket. I'm not in the business of doing that because that would cost me money, which I don't necessarily have. In the future, should, for example, a lot more Patreons come on board to support this channel, one of the ways that I can give that back to the people who've supported this channel is by doing giveaways, but that's a little way ahead in the future at the moment. Also, if I were to start receiving promo models from manufacturers to be able to review them, review copies, then there's every possibility that some or all of those could be used to provide giveaways as part of a promotion process. That doesn't happen. When I do box opening and reviews, I am doing it on an item which I have bought out of my own pocket, usually something that is of specific interest to me for my own modelling concerns. So at this present time, even though there are a lot of box opening and reviews, none of them are in a position to be used as a giveaway. So I hope that answers that question. Do we have any other comments?
Final question. Simon Jones says your cat should be on more videos.
You haven't met my cat. My cat is a little bit of a psycho. She does not like people, cats, sofas, shadows, the outside world, dry cat food that has not come out of a go-cat pouch. There's a whole host of things. I've got a diva of a cat, and she tends to, she's got what they called tortitude. She's a tortoiseshell, and she's very bad-tempered, and she doesn't really like being stroked in the way that a normal cat does. She will sometimes pretend that she wants to be stroked, but you have to be very particular how you do it. So having her feature in videos would be a recipe for disaster, and she will do the diva thing. She will skulk off. Sometimes you'll see the door behind me when we're in the office filming stuff will kind of bang on the back of the chair. It's not a ghost. There is a cat down at floor level deciding, oh, you're filming. You're not giving me the required attention. I need to interrupt this filming and cause a nuisance of myself. But at the moment, we're going through probably what is going to become the hottest year on record. And so the cat has become a little bit more lethargic at the moment and tends to just sleep places. But there's not really much I could do with the cat. If she turns up in the background, I'm quite happy to keep that in. I think we've done in the past some trains going by videos in the garden. She may have come into shot on that. I suspect actually she doesn't appear in any. When I was doing the 1,000 Greatest Vinyl Albums, I think all the bits where she wandered straight across in front of me were probably edited out. But believe me, the novelty will wear thin very, very quickly. Do we have any more questions now, Zoe, or is that everything?
That's everything.
Right, so I'm going to round off, bring this Q&A session to a close. As always, leave any questions that you have in the comments down below, and next time we come to do one of these Q&A sessions, we will look at answering those. And also, if you're a Patreon, you can be supporting the channel through Patreon. That also does give you access to ask questions early, and they always are given top priority because these sessions are generally time limited. If we get a lot of questions come in, we tend to cherry pick. But if you are a Patreon and you ask a question through the Patreon channel, then we will guarantee that that question gets pride of place and will get asked. But until next time, you take very good care of yourself. It's been great having you along for this Q&A session. Normal service will resume for the next video. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take very good care of yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And a special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Mark Anthony and Michael Churchwood. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knobty Mouse. Thanks and catch you later.